Hello friends, it's Gar, and I'm making a video, or at least I'm starting to make a video today, and part of the reason I'm starting this video is because I had some good luck thrifting the other day. First off, I found a Busby Air Warriors Ultra-Tek Champion for $1.99. Now this is a really nice blaster, even when it's not modded. I don't know that I've ever seen this blue version before in person. I've seen images of the blue version packaged together with a green Sentinel overseas, but not in the US, so I don't know what store carried this. The green version of the Champion was carried, I believe, by Family Dollar, but I don't know. But anyway, this is great. I couldn't pass this up for $2. But additionally, I was looking around to get around to making kind of a mod video because I found this Cyclonic here. Now, I already have a lot of other Cyclonics, needless to say, but they are fun to mod and fun to use. So I figured, why not use this to make a video regarding modding one. Now, first off the bat, this one came with the 20 round magazine. Now that's great. 20 round capacity magazine is pretty great. However, I noticed not too long after I got this that this one notches over here. Guess what? Somebody jammed the magazine in here, and no matter how hard I try, I can't get it out. Anyway, so part of this is going to be just getting that magazine out. These are probably also really crappy batteries. You know, you got 3 Rayovacs. I don't know. The flywheels spin, but just barely. At the very least, I don't really see anything in the way of corrosion on the battery tray. I do see a little bit of plastic wear here, but that doesn't really matter in any way. So I just wanted to get those batteries out of there for now. Not that they're going to electrocute me or anything, but, you know, no reason to leave them in. Alright, now the Cyclonic is pretty easy to disassemble. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 screws to remove. The screws holding in the plastic yellow, I think of them as lightning bolts. They're not really lightning bolts, obviously, but that's what I think of them as. These you pretty much have to take off first. Well, I mean, you really have to take it all off. So, but I usually take these off first because you can remove the lightning bolts without taking the rest of the shell apart if you are so inclined. One of the other things, if I recall correctly, is the Cyclonic uses all screws of the same size and length, so you don't really have to worry about keeping them separate. That's pretty nice. I may end up fast forwarding this part because you'll probably find it pretty boring. I think every Nerf modder probably knows how to remove screws from a blaster. It is not that remarkable, and I don't even have an electronic screwdriver to use for this. Now, I mentioned in a previous video, I mentioned that basically I've seen 2 different ways for this front barrel to be when you're removing it. On the very first Cyclonic that I modified, I found that the inner orange barrel that doesn't spin was simply screwed into the base, and I was able to unscrew it and use it for however I wanted. However, on later Cyclonics that I modified, I found that this was glued or solder welded into its inner, whatever that part is. It was not removable, so I ended up simply cutting it down to size. This may be kind of loud for you fellows. Alright, so there's the lightning bolts. Lightning bolts are removed. As you can see, there's just 2 blue pieces of molded squared chunk. Now in some of the mods that I've done before, I just cut these off. I leave an open gap because I know not to stick my fingers in there. It would probably be ideal to cover them up, but for now, all we care about is removing the lightning bolts. That last screw out of there. Yeah, so far all of these screws are exactly the same size. Tell you, having a magnetic screwdriver for this disassembly can be pretty nice. In a similar way to the lightning bolts, technically, I guess you don't have to take them off first, but I tend to take this yellow handle piece off first and just put it together separately. One of the nice things is when you're painting this blaster, you can paint the yellow handle part separately from the rest of it very easily, since it is simply separately molded plastic. No big deal at all. And I screw these back together. I mean, granted, as I said, all the screws are the same, but this way, I know where all of them are. Let's see. So there's just two big holes there we don't need to worry about. My very first usage of a Cyclonic was, well, that's kind of a story. So on Nerf Reddit, somebody posted their customized blaster, the Space Weasel, the HFS Space Weasel, which was most of a Nerf Hailfire, and they integrated a long strike magwell into it. So granted, it was made into a single mag instead of multi-mag like a Hailfire is. And I think then they had a Firefly on the back. But I was inspired to try an integration product where I took a Cyclonic's magwell and integrated it to a Hailfire that I purchased thrifting for super cheap. The Hailfire in question did not have the handle that advanced the rotation, so it was pretty easy to sacrifice in that way. My blaster didn't work out so well, and I've since disassembled it, but anyway, so here we are. Oh, actually, right, I forgot one important thing. All of the internals, even though you're taking the screws out on this side, all of the internals of the Cyclonic are on this side, so you want to, ideally, you want to flip it over. One of the screws didn't come out. You want to flip it over before you remove anything. So here we go. It's always good to be gentle with this. The only thing on this side is the dart guide. A couple of X-Shot. Wow, that's pretty awesome. I've seen some, this isn't the most messed up blaster internals that I've ever seen, but it's not good. So anyway, needless to say, that magazine came out just fine, and I like these magazines a lot. I probably have 10 of them or so now. Just get, that's basically garbage. I'll get this guy out of here too. That dart is probably reusable. So the mag release of the Cyclonic is pretty simple. You have this orange piece with the spring on it. I have to put that in wrong before. And then this other orange piece simply slides into there. You want to make sure it doesn't go anywhere, but when you press in, it will, the angle of this piece simply pushes the mag. Release, hold backward, and it goes out very easily. Now, what shall we do first? I may cut the video here, I haven't decided yet, but this may be a part 1. If you're looking to do the most simple Cyclonic mod, and you don't want to sacrifice some of your battery power to light these LEDs and spin this front barrel, you could simply remove all of the wiring that, oh, and this just simply lifts out, of course. So even for now, I've never kept the spinny barrel, and I just don't care for it. So what I'm going to do is just cut these wires. There's no power on here anyway, so I'm not going to short anything. So in past, I've taken this barrel, I have to essentially completely destroy the clear plastic on the outside, and then you're left with a long inner barrel. Now the interesting thing about this barrel is the threading is the same as that of the Snipe or the Tactical Storm, for example. So you can keep this. Oh, and this one unscrews. That's great. I did not try that before. This one unscrews, and guess what? That comes right off. You can keep this part. You have a spare motor here if you want it. Granted, it's a stock motor, but this clear plastic piece is glued. This is originally in two pieces, and then they're glued together, and that's how they stay onto this barrel, because there's a lip on the inner barrel. It cannot be slid through the clear. So to be honest, part one of doing the simplest cyclonic mod, I don't think this thing even has some kind of capacitors here, but it doesn't have a thermistor like Nerf blasters, Nerf flywheel blasters do. So the simplest mod, to be honest, is cut these wires and put this back in. You probably would want to be safe, you want to put some electrical tape over the ends of these and just put this back in, and it just kind of sits there. That's held in when you reassemble the blaster. And you now have, you're down to 3 motors instead of 4, and you're free of this barrel. So, yep, alright, well, tell you what, this is Gar signing off for now, and we're going to see what else comes down the line for this.